Welcome back to Tanya in 5. The last few days we have been studying chapter 3 of book 3 of Tanya, Iggeret HaTeshuva. In chapter 2 we established that after one completes Teshuva, one returns to God and God cleanses, then there is the necessity for gift giving, demonstrating to God our willingness to reinvest in our relationship with Him. In temple times, this was accomplished through the offerings, and in the post-temple time, in the Talmudic era and beyond, this was accomplished through a series of days of fasting. In chapter 3, the Alter Rebbe goes to the practical side of this. What should we do? Now first, the Alter Rebbe tells us that there's actually a dispute about this. You see, in the various different books that talk about these issues, they prescribe a certain amount of fasts as a gift for each sin. So say, for example, the sin of wasted seed for men is 84 fasts. So there is a dispute. Should one fast 84 fasts for each time the person has committed this sin? Or 84 fasts once to cover all of the times the person may have done such a sin? Now, the Alter Rebbe admits that if we were to go with this latter view, or the first view, that a person has to fast 84 fasts for each time one wasted seed, the Alter Rebbe admits this would be quite a large number. And therefore, the Alter Rebbe tells us that the accepted compromise is to fast 3 times the number per sin. So say a person committed wasted seed for, many times, he would only fast 3 times 84 total, which is 254. Now, if we were to stop at this point in the book, we would conclude that a person has to go through all their sins, see the number of fasts that correspond to them, and do each one 3 times if they indeed sinned more than 3 times each of these sins. But the Alter Rebbe tells us, before you jump to that conclusion, you have to bear in mind the purpose of these fasts. Remember, the purpose here is that it be a gift for God, an investment into the relationship. Now, if a person fasting becomes so weak that they can't talk to God in prayer, they cannot study, they cannot focus on their family, and they cannot do what they have to do, then we have ruined the whole point. We've shot ourselves in the foot. You're trying to give God a gift by fasting and ruining your day and you can't serve Him? So obviously that's not the point. Okay, so now we're back to square one. What do we do practically with this information? Now here's the interesting thing. The Alter Rebbe prescribed something for his generation, and in our generation, the Rebbe prescribed something a bit more progressive, if you will. The Alter Rebbe says that a person should at least once in his life go through the minimal number of fasts. So say for wasted seed, at least once in a person's life, a person should go through 84 fasts. And he says a person can stretch these out over 9-10 years. He can do these fasts in the winter when the days are shorter, and other such suggestions to make it easier to go through these fasts. He also suggests that choosing the number of fasts for each sin should only be for the more serious crimes. The ones that are less serious, one should give charity instead. Now, the Rebbe comes along and takes the logic one step further. Remember, the whole point here is to demonstrate our willingness to reinvest in the relationship. And again, if fasting is going to ruin your relationship with God, then don't do that. So says the Rebbe, in our generation, the way we demonstrate our investment in the relationship is primarily through tzedakah. In our generation, where people work really hard to make lots of money, and it becomes a kind of thing that people are chasing, giving up that hard-earned money for God, giving up money that you could spend on yourself for somebody else because you want to demonstrate to God that you're ready to invest, now that's a gift. The takeaway from all of this is, we need to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, are we really investing in our relationship with God, or are we coasting along? And if we're investing, sometimes we do things that are uncomfortable, like giving charity even when it hurts. Looking forward to seeing you and conclude chapter 4.